Amara, the Tiger of Brutality, is one part Brick the Brute,
I punched the initiative.
one part Anointed Siren Badass, and today we focus on a build that I've been using to play her and utilize her Siren abilities, not her Brick abilities. I've gotten lots of questions about what build I've been playing in my prior videos. If you haven't seen those videos, feel free to go check them out now. I make boss guides as well as loot pool analysis videos. But today we're diving into the particular Amara build that I run. This build is capable of single targeting bosses, clearing rooms of enemies, and surviving against the strongest of badasses that you encounter. That's why I'm dubbing this the handsome jack of all trades. So what can this build do? Well, a little bit of this. And some of this. And just about everything else you can think of. This build is based around the Fist of Elements tree, and let's start diving into the actual skills that you use in this build. Okay, so we're in game now. We have the Fist of Elements tree open. Let's quickly run through some of the skills. I'm not going to run through everything. I'm going to run through what I don't like and highlight some of the good things, not to waste your time. You guys can all read, you guys can all see. So what we're skipping, let's start from the bottom and go up. We're going to skip Conflux. Don't need it, doesn't do a whole lot for us. Catharsis, this gives explosions on kill. Doesn't do enough damage for us to warrant putting points in. Wildfire, this spreads your abilities across multiple enemies. Also not worth it, we have enough AoE elsewhere. We don't need to drop points into this bucket. Illuminated Fist, we're not doing melee damage, skip it. Steady Hands, I love this skill, I love it. But, we just don't have enough points. Now what's good in this tree? Anima, great, good, awesome, it's the fundamental skill for Amara players. Infusion, amazing as well, converts weapon damage to your action skill element, in this case fire. What else is amazing? Indiscriminate, so what this does is like the Jacob AoE ricochet effect on enemies, and you have an increased chance on phase grasp enemies. Combine that with Ties That Bind, which shares damage, 35% of damage dealt is shared across enemies on an 18-second cooldown, very important to note. It allows you to do an incredible amount of AoE damage to everything in the room. Pair that up with Allure, which just groups enemies up, makes it easier to do that AoE damage. You're golden, you're doing AoE like a monster. Now what else is good in this tree? Sustainment. Lifesteal, 20% of damage dealt is converted to lifesteal. So if you're firing your gun, it's really, really hard to die. Now, jump to the Brawl Tree. The Brawl Tree is the backbone of this build, and the reason we go there is for the Guardian Angel. So this gives you a revive on death. Now, if you're playing in a group setting, don't grab this skill. You don't need it as much. For solo players, this is fundamental. You don't know how much time you're going to save having this skill equipped at all times. What else is amazing in here is Helping Hands. So it gives you a 40% damage reduction. We already said Fist of Elements is an 18-second cooldown, and this lasts for 15 seconds. 15, 16, 17, 18, 3 seconds of gap time. And you can do some cooldown reduction and get that closer to 15 seconds. So you basically permanently have a 15-second or 40% damage reduction always running at all times, plus your Guardian Angel, plus the other skills from this tree that give you some survivability. Some great damage dealing is Personal Space. The closer you are to enemies, the more damage you're doing. Mindfulness is great as well because it gives you some speed. So movement speed plus 4.2%, and it stacks as you do damage. It stacks 25 times, so you can actually use like a hail or something, shoot the ground, and run extremely fast. It's amazing for farming. Now, the last thing I'll talk about is Fast Hands. Put a point in here. This is your extra dump point. It gives you faster reload speeds, weapon swap speeds, and mode switch. It's just a nice to have. That's the build. Now, Guardian rank. I'm focusing on Hunter right now and Enforcer, so splitting the two. I'm always picking Luck. Luck is my #1 priority right now. I want as much luck as possible. That way I can get the gear I want and continue to get those rare drops and making the game easier and easier as I progress. Now, lastly, let's cover guns. So this is a standard loadout for me. I typically have some sort of shotgun, normal damage shotgun, or normal damage weapon up top, preferably a redundant butcher. I have an Omni loader. I have some sort of electric weapon, so in this case a Brainstormer. Sometimes I'll throw in a Crossroads, or where is my other one? I have a Rowan's Call actually as well. That's electric. The fourth weapon is usually a Rowan's Call and fire, or a King's Call and fire, or some other fire type weapon. I have been running this Molten Dictator lately. It's pretty good as well, but this is a more standard setup for most bosses. Now I'm using a Pack Rat Stopgap. I have not got a better version of this. You'll notice it's level 48. On shield break, immune to any damage, 15% absorb chance on bullets, plus 10% movement speed when shields are full. It's amazing for farming and running the locations, gives you that absorb, as well as immunity on damage taken for 5 seconds. Now, I'm using a loaded dice at all times. I don't have a perfect roll loaded dice. I just haven't got one yet. So I'm using this fire imbued one, which I will definitely be using for a melee build here shortly. But this is all I have for now. It gives me plus 16% incendiary damage, but most importantly, I want that feeling lucky bonus. Now, for my class mod, I'm using a Phase Zerker. Pretty standard. I have a really, really, really nice rolled Phase Zerker. So plus 25% weapon damage, 10% Malawan damage, 31% assault rifle damage. This is a dream roll right now. If you guys have a better one, let me know in the comments because I don't think you guys have it. Lastly, I'm using some sort of Tina's Hopper. I have a radiation one, I believe I have a cryo one, and a normal one, so I'll swap these out depending on what I feel like. This is the standard build. This is what I typically run with. I can do everything in this. Bosses, mobbing, whatever you want to do, this is the build for you. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.